How do you choose the right partner? When we talk to daters, their biggest fear is settling. But I heard something the other day that was so simple yet so powerful. It was the 3 things you need to find in a partner that will ensure you never settle. Yes, you heard me right. 3 things, not the laundry list of qualities we see daters typically using to try to find that perfect partner, and in return getting stuck on the dating hamster wheel because dating simply doesn't work that way. So, hello, Julie back with another Quickie. I had the pleasure of going to Paul Eastwick's talk at the Commonwealth Club in San Francisco the other week, where he talked about the realities and myths when it comes to attraction, choosing the right partner, and long-term connection, according to science, of course, from his book that just came out, Bonded by Evolution, The New Science of Connection and Love. Definitely listen to the full episode we did with him a couple weeks ago, but at the crux of it, it's less about finding the right person and more about creating the right relationship with them. And he really stressed that it's not about having the right qualities and looking for all these traits and who we think has these characteristics that would make a good partner, but rather it's about shared compatibility and building these moments and microcultures together. Paul had so much insightful commentary, but it was actually the organizer of the event who made me stop and think for a minute. So his name was George Hammond, and he is the director at the Commonwealth Club, and he came in with the statement that was so simple that it just blew my mind. So this is what he said. He said, find someone you are 80% compatible with and focus on maximizing their happiness and minimizing their pain, and you will be successful in love. And he said this in response to the conversation that was going on, but also his own experience with marriage. You know, being with someone through different stages of life and the highs and lows that come and what you need to do to consistently show up. And it was so profound to me because it truly is that simple. After being in a relatively long relationship, I'm coming up 5 years with my husband, it really is more about that on a day-to-day than these characteristics and traits and attributes that we think are important when we're dating. And I think a lot of times this stems from this feeling of like we want to make the right choice and overanalyzing every attribute, if they could or could not be a good life partner, gives us that element of control. Instead of evaluating someone for the future, in a future where you don't even know what will happen, George turns it around with his statement to something that actually is in your control. Not these attributes that we think by picking are, but this moment of maximizing their happiness and minimizing their pain. That is something that you could do for a partner all the time, and in turn, find a partner that does that for you. Living by that motto is what creates great relationships. It's so much more actionable than hoping that you made the choice, the right choice, based on a list of traits. We have an upcoming episode where the guest revealed that he was very picky, and this came from the fact that he was scared of divorce. As a child of divorce, he didn't want to make the wrong long-term choice and have his relationship end. The problem was, though, the qualities he was optimizing against wouldn't predict that anyways, but he was trying to exert control any way he could, which makes sense if you have this fear. But by looking at it this way, finding someone that you're mostly compatible with and putting the rest of the ownership to show up as the best damn partner you can be is so much more attainable. Having it be that simple is actually quite liberating. You don't need to worry you chose wrong. You just need to find someone you're happy with, attracted to, and commit to building a life with them. And the key here is that you both need to do this. It can't just be you that's maximizing their happiness and minimizing their pain. You need to find someone that's also equally as bought into this concept and really wanting to just put your relationship at the forefront and do whatever it is to make each other happy, make each other feel loved and sustained and all of that. So before I go further, I want to take a quick pause here because I want to talk about some of the stats that Paul shared that caused an upheaval about settling. But before I do, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. I am so excited to tell you about our sponsor, Avocado Green Mattress. Their certified organic mattresses, pillows, and solid wood furniture are made without harmful chemicals and with thoughtfully chosen materials that are designed to support healthier living and more restorative sleep. I don't know about you, but my sleep matters. My mornings, my mood, my energy, and I love that Avocado makes that upgrade tangible with real materials designed for comfort, breathability, and a healthier home. And that's because Avocado's mattresses allow your body to properly recover, reset, and wake up ready to take on the day. The best part is that you can get a mattress with absolutely no regrets. Avocado offers sleep trials of up to 1 year to ensure you're getting the best mattress for you. When it comes to what you sleep on, real wins. Real is better. Go to avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable to check out their mattress and bedding sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable, avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable.
Getting dressed should not be this hard, but somehow it is. And that's why I love Armoire, because Armoire makes getting dressed easy with a clothing rental membership that helps you build the perfect wardrobe with high quality, unique brands picked just for you. You just take a quick 5-minute style quiz, choose from your personalized closet, and your pieces show up at your door in as little as 2 days. I've been using Armoire a lot when I travel, and I'm heading to the East Coast soon, and instead of buying coats and sweaters I'll never wear in LA, I rented the cutest ones through Armoire. And the hot tip is I get them delivered to the hotel, so I don't have to carry them in my luggage. It's also my favorite way to test new styles without committing or cluttering my closet. I love that I always have something new to wear without the decision fatigue and without feeling guilty about wearing something once. Right now, Dateable listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 60% off their first month. That's up to $150 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That's ARMOIRE.style/DATEABLE to get up to 60% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today.
So settling, the dirty S word. This word is quite triggering, I learned. We recently shared a stat that Paul Eastwick had talked about on the episode we did with him, how 40% of people felt nothing when they initially met their now long-term partner, and only 20% knew they were all in right away. The point of this research was to show that we can't expect instant attraction, and attraction and connection grow, which is why we need to give people more time. And going into first dates expecting to know immediately is setting us up for failure. Of course, this resonated with so many people, but there were also comments. There were a lot of comments around how the 40% are just settling. This is why everyone's divorced. There were hundreds of comments on this post. It was a heated discussion at times. But I kept thinking, nowhere in these stats was there a correlation between not being instantly attracted and settling. Sure, of course, there are people that get together who never had any chemistry at all. They're basically roommates and they weren't happy. But there's also people who have that immediate spark and fall out of love and aren't happy eventually. Neither is a sign of longevity. Neither of you either were attracted immediately or you weren't are an indicator of if your relationship will grow. And the flip side is true too, because no one is saying in these stats that the attraction and connection didn't eventually grow. All Paul is quoting is that it wasn't always there immediately. So much had to do with the context that you meet in, like maybe you met at work or through a friend or someone you didn't even associate as romantic, or maybe you were in a relationship when you met them, or maybe you just needed the time to build attraction like we did back in the olden days before we were expected to make snap decisions on who to swipe on or go out with again. So just to set the record straight, if it's not an instant spark, but you end up being wildly attracted to them months in, that's not settling. If they don't have every last quality on your list, but you are head over heels about them, it's also not settling. And if they are not your typical type, but you realize they are perfect for you, it's not settling. And certainly if you have someone who is 80% of what you imagine, and then you both commit to maximizing each other's happiness and minimizing each other's pain, this is how you create a long-lasting relationship that fills your heart and soul. This is literally the opposite of settling. You will not even notice that 20%. I didn't. I admit I had a list at one point, and luckily I threw it out before I met my husband. But I did find it actually after we were already together. And the reality was I probably did get 80%. And there was probably 20% that was on the list and he did not hold. But the reality is it didn't matter. I didn't need that stuff. And looking at it, I was like, okay, I'm totally fine. And I'm seeing the person for the whole. And what we're building here is so much more important than, this 20% of like, does he go out and socialize in a way that I once thought was important that I don't even anymore? So let's kind of reframe. I want to use this as an opportunity to reframe settling, reframing what we need to look for in a partner. I believe this finding love. I know we use the term finding your person all the time, and it's not like it's a bad term, but I think the word finding is kind of messing with us. It is creating. It's finding someone that you can create with. So finding, it's not like it's not a thing, but you're never going to find this person that has every last trait like you're ordering someone off Amazon. And even if you did, that doesn't mean they're going to be the partner that lasts for the long haul and they're the person that really makes you happy and lights you up and treats you the way that you should be treated. So we would be lucky to find a partner that really puts at the forefront of maximizing our happiness and minimizing our pain. And it starts with us being that partner ourselves. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you aren't already. And also make sure to pick up our book or audiobook, How to Be Dateable, which has a part about the only 7 things that matter when investing in someone, which is very in line with all of this. Okay, hope this was helpful. Bye.